So, many things have changed. Too many to list here. There are not as many as the 0.2.0 update. This includes weapons, equipment, consumables, traits, companions, and everything else as well. So much stuff. Very often the changes will just be numerical buffs and nerfs, or rephrasing and reformatting descriptions. If you're really interested, take a look at all the items. I won't be doing this, but it's good to know. Yes, there's the before and after post. Right, descriptions cleaning up. New way of conveying the mass for stats. Any multiplicative effect will be times 2. Any effect additive with other effects will be plus 10%. Previously this was communicated with users words increased and more to shorten and streamline descriptions. A lot of them are not full sentences anymore, and thus these words were dropped. I implemented new formatting tools for myself, such as bullet points, arrows, descriptions, and I use these icons exclusively, making everything more digestible. Tooltips are now mostly hidden, with a few exceptions. You have to hold a button to show them. This change was made to prevent you from getting overwhelmed when looking at an item. For tooltips always showing, there was a new option at the bottom gameplay tab in options menu to always show tooltips. Nice. A lot of stats have been given new and easier to understand handles that align more with playing conditioning. For example, critical hit multiplier is now consistently called critical hit damage. Lovely. I think every tooltip has changed and some new ones have been added to. Excellent. Just amazing quality of life stuff. All weapon damage ranges and scalings have been changed. There are multiple overhauls of all weapons in the game. Attack patterns have not been touched though, so it should all feel very familiar. Weapons no longer use the classifications primary attack and secondary attack. Primary attacks are now just attacks, and all secondary attacks have been turned into triggers. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. All weapons use the same phrasing of primary attack deals. These were full sentences and have been reduced to a list of properties. This did not necessarily shorten weapon descriptions, but should make the information easier to grasp at a glance. When holding for details, weapons now also show their tags. This way you can, for example, find out if a weapon is considered a lightning weapon. Triggers and enchantment modifiers will also add the correct tags to the weapon. So a weapon like Muna is now also considered a lightning weapon. If tags are missing, it's a bug. Shotgunning has been generally removed from tiny rogues. There are very few instances of shotgunning and area overlapping in the game. Descriptions are phrased slightly differently in those cases. To compensate for the loss of shotgunning, there is now inherent 1.2 damage bonus for being at close range and a 0.9 damage penalty for being at far range. But I like being at far range. All damage now has hidden associated stat called effectiveness of added damage. For the average player, this stat doesn't mean anything and frankly is quite useless. It is a balancing mechanism that adjusts rates of gaining added damage. So for example, the Gatling gun with 8 attacks per second will have less damage effectiveness than the bazooka that has an APS of 1. For wiki editors and map enjoyers, add an option to reveal this stat to the gameplay of the options menu. Excellent. Perfect. Scepters now do damage over time. You cannot equip weapons from your inventory during combat anymore. A lock icon will appear on all weapons in inventory during combat. Only weapon swapping via weapon swap slot is allowed now. Oh, interesting. Cool. Some weapons have been deleted. I was overly zealous and thought I'd convert these into skills, but I ran out of time. This includes Inferno Orb Wand, Poison Orb Wand, Comet Scroll, Meteor Scroll, Judgment Scroll, Explosion Scroll, deck of cards, and possibly others I might have forgotten. I'll either introduce them as weapons again, or turn them into new skills in a future patch. I've improved the code for weapon animations. There should be less jank like holding crossbows sideways. Fun. Yeah, that's a good, just example. Weapon enchantment changes, added 6 new modifiers: Clever, Charged, Glacial, Incinerating, Sly, and Brutal. Some bad ones have been removed, some others might have changed. Like everything else, they got updated. Currently, weapons don't show their enchantment as a prefix in front of their name anymore. I will add this back as an option because a lot of players voiced that they want that. Feel it is better without it, but you were convinced me to add it as an option. We love convincing the dev. Negative modifiers have a dark purple colour now, previously grey. Cool. Modifiers have a unique animated icon in descriptions. And modifiers can now add tags to weapons, e.g. an icy modifier will make your weapon officially a cold weapon. Okay, that's cool. That's very helpful. If you find a specific weapon with a specific enchantment, then you can use like those sorts of things. Unarmed changes. You can now inspect your unarmed weapon, and it has effects that additionally scale with your level. Cool. Yep. C on. Oh, yep. Nice. That's cute. I like that. It's fun. Your fist counter is two-handed when not using an offhand. Nice. Damage scaling changes. Everything has scaling now. Companions, damage over time effects, triggers, auras. Each point of scaling now grants plus 5% damage up to a soft cap, after which each point only grants 0.5% damage. Okay, so then it's 10 times less worth it. The scaling grade now decides the soft cap. Interesting. For example, if your weapon has an S in dexterity and you have 60 dexterity, you will get plus 255% damage from scaling, not 300%, as the 10 points above 50 only count as 0.5% each. Ooh. This is why I don't look at the beta, because then I'm super interested in stuff like that. Like, damn. Okay. Oh, that's super interesting. How is that going to work? Okay, effects and mechanics. Sneaky hits have ×2 critical hit damage. Sneaky hits for intelligence. Complete the trifecta of special hits along with the ruthless hits for strength and lethal hits now for dexterity. This is a final special hit type and I have no intentions of adding any additional ones. This also provides the 7th and final special hit type for Lilith's Legacy, which has been updated to not be useless on Sunday and generally favour weekend gamers. Enjoy! This is so that you spread your stats out more. Yeah. Because I was like, the prevailing, well, meta, I don't know, was to go all in on one, as far as I could tell. But yeah, that's cool. Lilith's Legacy is a fun one. Currently we're recording this on a Thursday, so if we do find it, it'd be curse hit chance, which sucks. Treasure Find is the third and final RNG manipulation stat, completing the trifecta with a magic find and luck. Treasure Find grants a chance for getting +1 boss reward, +1 item in chests, and reroll and rolling the maximum reward amount. Cool. Some effects now work on the metric of trait types, colors you have. Cool. Yes, I remember seeing stuff about that. Scaling was different in the beta, so did they change it, or... Oh yes, the mana rework. Removed mechanics. Mana does not grant damage bonus anymore. Mana is now solely used to fuel skills. Mana Star pickaxe have been removed, but will probably return in some way in the future. Together with the pickups, Mana Flux buff doesn't exist anymore. Well, it kinda does. It is now unique to the Vision Quest trait. It was like this, but without the cap. Ah, gotcha. The cap is interesting. It does seem like an interesting addition. It means less... It means less maximum damage, but it is a lot more interesting. If that makes sense. Because it means you have to think about it more. Together with the pickups, Mana Flux buff doesn't exist anymore, but it kind of does. Trait. As previously mentioned, all weapons have gone through intensive rebalancing. Magic weapons previously were balanced around the player getting a damage bonus from mana, but now that this damage bonus has been removed, the base damage is now similar to ranged and melee weapons. Some players voiced concern over the identity of magic weapons, and will have a close eye on caster archetypes in the coming patches. Mana now uses a pip system. All of these triggers have been removed. On kill, on combat star, on taking damage, on drained mana, on pickups, mana star. All of these deemed mostly not desirable by the community. Effects that used any of these triggers have been reworked. Damn, that's interesting. On Italia, if your attacks, your next attack or skill deals a guaranteed critical hit. That's the Rogue's Tally. One that I never really took, so that is interesting. But yeah, on kill being gone. On combat start was one that I remember Crossing Cat said he liked, but... Stamina recovery works a little different now. Previously, there was stamina recovery speed and stamina recovery rate. One decided the cooldown before stamina started regenerating. The other side how long it would take for you to recover one stamina once regeneration has started. Okay, got it. Now there's only one stat. Stamina recovery speed. Each point of stamina recovers sequentially at your stamina recovery speed. Cool. All effects that previously were phrased this way on non-triggered lucky hit, trigger, are now phrased a chance to trigger. E.g. your attacks have a chance, gain a 30% chance to go chain lightning that deals. This makes effects more approachable, easy to understand, easy to read, and easier to use in a build. Lovely. Awesome. Very good. Lucky hits and curses. Previously, lucky hits made your damage roll one additional time, taking the higher outcome, while cursed hits did the opposite. I know before that it was critical hits. So changing again. Instead of that, lucky hits now double the chance on hit effects to happen. Yeah. Cursed hits now have half the chance of on hit effects to happen. Cool. This affects the aforementioned 30% to trigger effects, but also affects things like critical hit chance. So lucky hit with 30% critical hit chance would actually have a 60% critical hit chance. A cursed hit that has a 30% chance to trigger lightning will have a 15% chance to trigger chain lightning instead. Cool. Lethal hits. Instead of doubling the damage, they now make you deal more damage the lower the health of the target is. Up to ×2 at 0% health. Yes, this is a nerf, but lethal hits are pretty easy to acquire, so it's warranted. Fair enough. How far are we? We're not even close. Whoa. Reading these patch notes being like Sisyphus. One must imagine Sisyphus reading patch notes. Periodical effects have been merged with ticking effects, so periodically every 2 seconds does not exist anymore. The periodical rate stat also doesn't exist anymore. Oh damn. As pretty much everybody and their grandma asked me what periodical rate does, I hope tick speed is more understood. It all now works with the tick speed stat. Tick speed also affects things like damage over time effects and auras. Everything that scales with tick speed now shows the tick tag. This is also explained in game. There's a massive buff. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, this is massive. It makes it easier for builds to combo into ticking effects. That's gonna be like one of the things you're definitely gonna want to find. Just imagine how long it took for Ruby to write that novel. Yeah. Oh my god. Ruby writing a dissertation, an essay. This is incredible. If the item changes were there, this would take about 5 pages more. Oh my god, this is incredible. Oh, where was it? Yes, magic find is not a percentage anymore, but flat points. Similar to luck, this is intentionally a bit more obscure, okay? Damage rolls cannot exceed 100% anymore, e.g. by powering up the fear debuff. Oh, interesting. Okay. All has changed. They don't apply the debuff anymore that makes the target take additional damage. They are now ticking effects, dealing damage over time and inflicting their corresponding element. E.g. burn aura now deals fire damage over time and inflicts burn. Okay, so if they're in your aura, they will take the damage. You don't have to hit them with your companion or your thing. It's just the burn aura does the burn damage. That's a lot more simple to understand. We got a bit confused about that in a previous stream, I remember. Alignment is not on a scale anymore. You can now be good and evil at the same time. This was done because it was increasingly frustrating to accidentally engage with the mechanics such as the black market, and certainly not be good enough anymore to enter heaven. While I did like the kind of theming of being only able to choose one, this is a lot nicer for accessibility and doing a lot more different doing everything you want in a run without having to worry about being good and evil. While I did like the idea of, oh, you don't want to do this because then you can't go to that, like those kind of limits that are added when doing that kind of thing was kind of interesting. But I think this is a good change overall. Gameplay over theme, yeah, exactly. Curse doors now apply +1 code immediately after entering a room instead of when you complete it. That makes sense. Curse now seals straight upon having made your choice. Oh, that's so right. I saw this. I saw people talking about this. That's so mean. Why would you do that? That's so mean. Well, I'm never taking curse anymore. I mean, I never took it anyway, but oh my god. That psychological damage. This is a great change. Oh, exactly for this reason. Yeah, oh my god. That's just... Oh, yes. I mean, I'm gonna hate it, but I love it. Oh my god. Damage ranges of certain damage types have been adjusted. For example, lightning damage has less of a range now. Lightning still has the biggest damage range, but it's not as crazy as before anymore. Yeah, lightning having a large range from low to high is a very common thing in games, I noticed. In Death Must Die it's the same way as well, where it can go from like 1 to 1,000 kind of thing. I think that's the kind of like a fun thing that people get. There's lots of things where I know these newer games and I notice similarities between them, but I don't know where the initial idea came from. When I recently played Slay the Spire, I realized, oh, this is where all of these ideas came from. For a lot of other games I play, and it's like in Tiny Rose I get a lot of that because there's lots of inspiration. 200 to 100 instead of 1 to 1,000. Cool. Less low end. Cool. Doom, Judgment, Frostbite have been reworked. Doom now deals a base amount of damage, and Judgment and Frostbite have been reworked into pseudo debuffs similar to Scorch and Toxic. Some players voice that they find the previous implementation of these effects more interesting. In my mind, I changed these because they obfuscated a simple damage increase. A Judgment deals 100% of damage of the 2 hits that inflicted it. This is basically just 100% damage increase. So at that point, I'm pretty much just adding extra words. I like your funny words, Magic Man. I like your funny words, Magic Man. Instead of just fighting, you deal more damage. I wish some of these do now. Doom maintains the quality of being a count-up effect, and I plan to polish it and other effects further in the future, adding cool particle effects, sounds, and so on. Cool. In fact, all secondary ailments have been streamlined. Previously, these all did a semi-unique thing. Now they all do the same thing, but for a specific damage type. 1.25 of their specific type of damage. Cool. And so on for Diffusion, Frostbite, Roots, Rupture, Toxic, and Zap. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Interesting. Bit less complexity and interest, but it's a lot more streamlined, as mentioned. While that does remove some of the interesting design choices, I think it is for the best, because it does also leave Ruby a lot more room to do a lot more interesting stuff on top of it. This was done to make room for get a minor grammar mistake. Make room for more builds focusing on a single damage mistake. I think it's a cool fantasy to go for the cold damage build or the fire guy build. Hopefully these ailments provide an avenue to invest more into that route. Awesome. Similar to the change to Doom, all damage dealt by status effects has now has a base damage and scaling. Previously, all status effects used this frankly weird infliction damage mechanic that confused a lot of people. E.g. Burn would deal 50% of infliction fire damage. Now Burn, Poison, Bleed, Echo, Retribution, Paper Bombs, and all other damaging status effects have their own base damage. That's good. While this was an interesting system, this is better. Poison and Disintegrate. I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot, because Ruby did have a lot of really good ideas, but this is better. All status effects, be it ailment, buff, debuff, or anything else, are now always considered to be inflicted by the player. This fixes a weird edge case problem where, e.g., the snow power companion would grant chill effects, but the chill that the companion would afflict when they're actually affected by that. We had a chill effect build recently, so that's fun to know. Damage over time can now deal special hits such as critical hits, lucky hits, and cursed hits, and so on. Cool. Also, I do really like this. This is nice. You've got a nice set to work with. Alright, where were I? Trait changes. This is going to be a long one. I dare to repeat myself, but lots of traits have changed. Not even close to all though. A lot of them are still the same. Some have had their name slightly changed, e.g. 1 step ahead, it's now called 2 steps ahead. Removed 13 traits. Oof. Bloody Knuckles, Focus Might, Goat Force, Natural Burden, Shield Bash, Tempest Kick, War Cry, Hunter's Patience, Mana Forge Bolt, Near Death Experience, Discharge, Glass Cannon, Wildfire. Some of these are planned to return as skills. Don't be sad, Goat Force, you'll be back soon. Same goes for War Cry and Discharge. Nice. But we added 21 new traits. Strength has 9 new ones. An Honest Day of Work, Born Over Brain, Explosive Force, Hand Off Hearts, Momentum, No Pain No Gain, Pushing Through, Shrouded in Shadows, Threat Reckoning. Dexterity has 5 new ones. Chill Aura, Electric City, Illusion of Control, Pet the Dog, Repeat Offender. Hold on, Chill Aura is now in Dexterity. Intelligence, Astromancy, Chrono Shift. Is that a reference to the game Chrono Shift? Entropy, Normal Distribution, Prodigy, Trickery, Zoo, Utopia. Is that a reference to the movie? I know it's Zootopolis in some countries. For a long time, a lot of the new traits had placeholder icons, and the community graciously stepped in and helped me out. They are coded icons for all new traits. Special thanks to Kopi, Junk Knight, NDSI, Crafting Cat 9, Endry, Furlough, Spies, Maybe Onyx, Colt, Evan, and Novellum. Those names have also been added to the credits panel. Thank you. Look, 2 of you guys are in chat. Well done to you guys. That's awesome. Hey, we get to pet the dog. That's amazing. Enemy changes. A lot of enemy health and armor values have changed. Crafting Cat mentioned. Junk Knight mentioned as well. A lot of enemy health and armor values have changed. There was a focus on increasing survivability of large enemies, e.g. Gargantuars, Yetis, Shield Guardians, and Purple Worms. I want these enemies to feel more powerful and not fall over as easily, acting as a central threat in a room. I know some of these names, yeah. It's like, I know these people. I'm in this community. Increased the health and armor scaling of many monsters, including Mimics, Basilisk, Cockatrices, Centurion Hunters, Automaton Guardians, Tainted Enemies, and Reapers. Reduced health, armor, hitbox size, and attack frequency of Jousting Champion. He will still be the bane of your existence. No! Oh my god, actually reduced. That's amazing. Revisited attack pants of some mimics so they aren't as unreasonable when paired up with another mimic and possibly enchanted too. Awesome. Centurion Hunter, as mentioned, health and armor values and scaling of these values into later floors has increased. The rooms before the hunter invades will now rumble to an outside company. Sorry, these are the Cinder changes. I don't play a lot with Cinders. I plan to do that after I complete all the characters. I've done that now. Now I've got a new update to check out. So, perfect timing, by the way. Awesome, so now you know when it's going to appear. Double-edged sword. Now only applies a negative enchantment modifier to your starting weapon. Does not increase frequency of negative modifiers anymore. Okay, cool. That's nice. Pestilence has been completely worked. Goodbye, maggots. Infested enemies explode on death, emitting a nova of poisonous projectiles after a short delay. If an enemy touches one of these projectiles, they will become infested too. This is a modifier for favouring single target and precise damage, as it can get very out of hand when you accidentally infest the entire room. That's fucking terrifying. You should probably turn on the fun cinders. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Yeah. I want to like put on the new ones, but I need to get used to the new game stuff first, and then I'll do that. Conqueror's Will. Instead of applying 0.5 damage reduction for 8 seconds, it now applies a 0.5 times damage reduction for 20 seconds, but the damage reduction decays over those 20 seconds. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so instead of it just being stops here, it's slowly over time. Defensive measures is now a 25% chance, down from a 30% chance to add a defensive enchantment. Slight nerf, well, I guess. Yeah. Resistant champs now got 30% damage reduction, previously 50. Yeah, that one was a bit much, so a little bit easier. A little bit less common, much less damage reduction. Cascading Pain has been removed and replaced with Afterlife Express. Reapers can now spawn regardless of how cursed you are. Reapers gain armor and an additional attack. Ooh. Ooh, okay, that's cool. I like that. Ill-equipped has been removed and replaced with Monster Jam. Is it jam made of monsters? You sometimes encounter rooms filled to the brink with enemies. Interesting, so just... okay. Automaton Guardians have less health and armor in the early game, but you also don't repair themselves anymore. Absolutely. Yep, I'll take that, absolutely. Important change. Bosses enchanted by the Arch Nemesis Cinder don't receive a health and armor bonus from being enchanted anymore. Instead, every active Cinder modifier now adds plus 0.5% boss health per floor. It is intended for the game to feel more difficult on Cinder 12 onwards. That is such an interesting change, because instead of it just being, oh, it's this one small change that might not affect you, that is so interesting. Yeah, that's good. So whenever you play with Cinder, it is inherently more difficult because of the bosses. Cool, very cool. I like that. Class changes. Every class has a skill now. Of course they do. Let me preface with this. I'm not a fan of managing too many buttons. I don't want Tiny Rogues to become a button-heavy game, but I think there was room in the gameplay for one more button to press. So finally, Dragoon can jump and Druid can shapeshift. Here's a list of all the skills. God, my voice is going to be so short by the end of this. The Hero, Heroic Flag, Sorcerer, Force Nova, Soldier, Arrest, Ranger, Piercing Volley, Pyromancer, Flame Wall, Mystic, Parry, Knight, Guard Bash, Gunslinger, High Noon, Doppelganger, Mimic, Deprived, Jinx, Consecrate, Cleric, Consecrate, Bard, Charisma, Bandit, Smoke Grenade, Wizard, Magic Circle, Warrior, Ren, Wanderer, Town Portal, Thief, Pickpocket, Barbarian, Flex, Alchemist, Polymorph. I don't need to read this, but I want to read it like the Pokemon Pokerap. The Hero, Heroic Flag, Sorcerer, Force Nova, Soldier, Arrest, Ranger, Piercing Volley, Pyromancer, Flame Wall, Mystic, Parry, Night Guard, Bash, Knight, Gunslinger, High Noon. And Gunslinger gets a random skill from another class, which is something I noticed, which is really cool. Because that makes Chaos a bit more... what? Who's that skill? Cool. Also, the one can just go to the tavern. Cool. The character selection contains a shortened description. This menu has been simplified and is getting more sophisticated implementation in the future. Hello, Santa. How are you doing? In the character panel, you can find a detailed description of your skill. Skill descriptions can be quite long, but you hopefully only have to read them once. Added a new stat called Skill Effect, which affects values that show the little green wrench next to it. Cool. Every class now starts with 75 equip load capacity, up from 50. But strength now only grants plus 2.5. Okay. So that, you know what? I like that. That is a... yeah, I like that. Because if you're focusing on strength, usually you'll have way too much. And if you have none, you sometimes just can't use anything. Starting with 75, and the strength does less, I think is good. Equip load penalties have changed. E.g., there is now a dash length penalty. There is no more critical hit chance and damage penalty. That is interesting. That's going to really screw me over if that happens, because you're like the muscle memory of how far the dash length is will be a thing. Quick play penalties have changed, e.g. there was now a dash length penalty, but there was no more critical hit chance and damage penalty. Weight is much less of an issue now. Excellent, because you've played, so you know. Every class starts with 7 movement speed now. Previously, some classes like Ranger had 7.25 or 7.5. Okay, I didn't really notice that, but cool. Specific class changes. Pyromancer has a new ability and new equipment. Cleric has a new ability. Bard has a new ability. Bandit has a new ability. Thief has a new ability. Bandit has a new ability, a new item, and a new sprite and theme. Cool. The hero now starts with the Amethyst Ring. Sorcerer has a new ability. Soldier has the new ability and the Town Guard armor changed. Ranger has a new ability. Knight has a new ability similar to the one before the 0.0 update. Interesting. Doppelganger, some of the forms have new effects. Cool. Pirate gains new ranks and the bounty rewards are different. I saw a picture of this. It's so much better. From my first look at it. Necromancer ability now only affects companions. Monk has a completely new ability. Jester has a new ability. Esper now gets 1 Psychic ability trait at level 1, so okay. Druid shrines don't grant the XP anymore. Okay, interesting. Fair enough. Demon Hunter increased their health and armor scaling of the tainted enemies. That's fair. I recently played Demon Hunter, one of my most favorite classes. Make it a bit more difficult. That makes sense. You don't want it to be too easy. Dancer has the new ability that builds a synergy with her skill. Excellent. Cyborg now gets 1 cybernetic core trait at level 1. Okay, so you're guaranteed to get 1 of their specific traits. Nice. Gift changes. Amethyst Ring has been replaced with the Sacramental Bread. Did I remember that? Yeah, Sacramental. Sacramental Bread is a consumable that absorbs all curse at once. That's super interesting. You can just take a bunch of curses and get rid of it all. Interesting. Mana Elixir now grants plus 20% mana recovery. Now that works with skills instead of mana weapons. They are similar to Superhero now. Oh, I see. Gotcha. So it's not like they were before. Alright. Cool. Scroll of Escape teleports you to the hero hideout. Stone the Butter has been replaced with the Golden Spatula. Golden Spatula. Charm that grants plus 10% chance for food rewards to upgrade. Cool. Dice Case contains only 1 ethereal dice now, previously 2. Oh, my heart. How could you? Radio has been replaced with the Ethereal Orb. Ethereal Orb allows you to pick a trait to remove, then get offered a selection of new ones. Cool. Cool. If you don't like what you've got, sure. If you want to focus in. Defy number with 50 curse and you just get rid of it right before the throne. Oh god, that's evil. Mana Catalyst has been replaced with Smuggler's Patch. Smuggler's Patch contains a random weapon. Yes, there was even a 1% chance for a legendary. Ooh, that's fun. Many of these gift changes were made at the last minute to make them presentable for this patch. It is likely I will change gifts more in the future. Completely fair. I like these ideas though. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that like some of the older stuff is gone. Like some of the abilities have changed. But that's what developing is all about. It's making it better. Mastery perk changes. All mastery perks have been rephrased. Some mastery perks have changed, including Secret Surface, Supply and Demand, Demand and Supply, Mixed Bag, Suit Up, Inflation, Deflation, In the 11th Hour, Red Roulette, Ethereal Roulette, Adaptability, Dedication, Pandora's Boxes, Odyssey, Precognition, Prosperity, The Glass is Half Full, The Glass is Half Empty, Lazy Stroll, Quick Recovery, Left to Fate, Personal Agency, High Stakes, and Slow and Steady. While you are not using any legendary item, legendary items are 1.1 times more common. Alright. Equipment changes. A lot of equipment items were often skipped because they were too weak or not reliable enough. These items got new effects. For example, the Gold Mask previously made a gold reward room appear. Now it gives you gold when you defeat the boss. Much better. New items. Elite Quiver. Tyroler Hut. Top Hat. Wedding Veil, Sucker Orb, Pyromancy, Gloves, a new set of 10 special charms, Skill Charm, Tattered Skill Charm, Goblin Charm, Gazer Charm, and Bounty Hunter License. There's a lot of stuff here. We are almost there. A lot of complex or niche equipment have been turned into something simple and easy to understand that slots in directly into builds. Cool. Quivers now only work when wearing a bow or crossbow. Are you telling me they didn't before? You know what, it's probably a specific interaction with a one-handed weapon and a quiver that didn't say bow or crossbow. So, that's cool. Companion changes. Companion descriptions now show the limit of that companion instead of its weight, making it hopefully easier to understand that you can summon multiple. Good. While I understood the system, I understand a lot of people didn't. So, completely fair. And the character pan, you can now see the total weight and count of companions you have. Very good. Some companions grant new effects, and 3 new companions, a Gazer, a Goblin, and just a little Goblin, and a Sorrow Sworn. Before they said bows and crossbows attacks. Gotcha. I like having the Tiny Rogues music in the background. Consumables now embed the effect they grant into the description now and don't show it as a tooltip anymore. Good. Fish. Many now grant permanent stats instead of temporary buffs. Yes, love that. Vitamins now grant less attributes but grant them immediately on consumption. While this is a nerf, the previous implementations of protein, zinc and calcium were needlessly complex. I really liked it, to be fair. But that's completely fair, because obviously Ruby will know that that's what's happening. They said bows and crossbow attacks, but some were still general and could be used with anything. Okay, good to know. Yeah, some quivers were usable. As an example is the Artemis quiver that added lucky hit marks. Ah, cool. I mean, no, I liked how these worked, but obviously Ruby knows best. Room changes. The bonfire now lets you repair your armor before the final bosses in floor 12. That's really good for if you have an armor build. I don't generally have an armor build, but that might make it more viable. Shops have been buffed all around, selling better items for cheaper, and some shops now sell cool new items. Yay! You now get information on which shop the door leads to. Yes! This is amazing. Marks were really bad. I never really used marks. They weren't particularly interesting to me. Lock picking at tavern now gets harder and harder with each time you do it. That makes sense. I assume that's referring to if you want to, like, trying to refresh and constantly go to the blacksmith with the thief. Items bought in shops cannot be pawned for more than they were bought for. Yep, that's something we figured out kind of recently, so now that's not a thing anymore. Surplus items in general have been slightly nerfed. The soul shops have been removed from the black market. The black market is now also smaller. This was done because I've seen players spend 10 minutes or longer in there. Items aren't worth more at the black market pawn shop anymore. That's fair. It would work better now, but it would still be bad. Yeah. It probably needs a little buff on those, but it's probably not a focus, considering everything else. Yeah, that makes sense. That all makes sense. So you can buy flower circlets, mining gear. Yeah, I remember these ones. As always, thank you Michael Angel 960 for the music. Add a new theme for when dying after winning a run. A custom game over animation will follow. I can't believe I still didn't find time to implement this. Added a new theme for the hero hideout. Added a new theme for the monster jamboree. So it's not in yet, but it will be at some point. Other quality of life. Matter and stamina recovery bars for the HUD. The character panel has been cleaned up. Weapons now display hard and soft upgrade levels separately when holding for details. Added a new bar to the bottom of the left of the screen that shows counts for tally and guarantee effects. Add new tutorial tooltips. For example, Sorcerer's ability now relates to ailments. There is now a tooltip explaining how to spot what an ailment is. Added a new near-death screen effect. Added a new near-death and flask reminder alarm sounds. You can toggle these off. These are the audio options, so you can turn them off. So, optional buffs, helps is good. Death wasn't supposed to claim you on the throne since you don't die. Yeah, but that's a lore thing we'll have to deal with in the future. Yep. Invincibility indicator below the player. You can toggle this button in the gameplay options. Compare and show detail are now split key binds. On keyboard, you can now define a key to toggle items to show base values. This will turn off the auto calculation of green values. The binding for this is not shown because it bloats the control hints and is usually only used for wiki editors and math enjoyers. But I like math. Other changes. An additional tutorial to the room that explains skills, so we'll be seeing that one. Some achievement requirements have changed as the new cheat console commands. Toggle infinite mana, spawn alchemy station, go to all weapons underscore room, go to all equipment underscore room. Yep, this is just stuff that I don't use, but could be good. Keyboard option blinked into move direction. This option is specifically for Jester skill. As Jester blinks away from the current location by default, this works like the dash into your movement direction. Personally, I prefer it to take a direction on my mouse cursor, so I did this option. Audio option, play near death alarm. Audio option, play flask reminder alarm. I've rebound the default gamepad controls. I'm probably just going to leave those on for now. See how they work. I've rebound the default gamepad controls. This is reset your binding. I can't believe I once again didn't manage to overhaul gamepad controls in this patch. Trust me, I have some fancy plans. I play with the gamepad controller, so hopefully those come soon. Show damage effectiveness. This is the savage players, so it's turned off by default. And gameplay option, always show tooltips. Bug fixes. The game has no more bugs. Everything has been fixed. Totally. Yep. Jokes aside, I fixed a lot of your favorite bugs. Amazing. Oh, there's a Tiny Rogues Plus sheet. If you want to go to Makeship, do a pledge if you want a Death plushie. It's great. Also, I believe they're in Tiny Teams as well. Tiny Teams Festival. Oh yeah, this is a really cool thing. Tiny Rogues and Backpack Battles will be in a bundle together. So I am affectionately calling that the WillOBot bundle, considering my channel primarily consists of Backpack Battles and Tiny Rogues. So if you want to get some of the games I play, now's a great time to get that bundle. Amazing. There was one more thing we wanted. Yes, it was the before versus after I wanted to show you guys. It's going to scroll through here. So this will probably go up on my channel fairly quickly after recording it. Maybe the day after. But the games of the with the new update will come out next week. Friday, Saturday, just like normal. If you want to have a quick look at these kinds of changes, just so you get an idea of what we're going to be dealing with. I love Truth and Justice, it's great. But be sure, if you want to see more Tiny Rogues, of course, you can subscribe, comment, like, share, to show that you want more of this. Because this will be a good one. I'm really excited to check out this update, and it's going to be so good. The new music is spooky. That's good to know. Amazing. So big thank you to RubyDev for this amazing patch. Well, update. I shouldn't say patch. This is a massive update. It's not even 0.3. It's 0.25. Like, Ruby's a legend. Go check out this game. Check out the bundle. Check out Tiny Teams in general. Join the Tiny Rogues Discord if you want, because a bunch of cool stuff happens there. Follow me on Twitch if you want to catch these runs live and these patch discussions. Again, I said patch. Update discussions. But that'll be it for me for this video. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. All those things are fun. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye.